An entitled couple make my restaurant job a living nightmare, cursing me out as well as falsely accusing me of having an attitude with them. And this is all because I didn't give them exactly what they wanted right when they walked in. And I've honestly never been treated this poorly ever in my 6 years of working in restaurants. Here's what happened. Okay, so it takes a lot for me to cry in the walk-in at this point, but this got me really bad. This is quite possibly the worst treatment I've ever had after 6 years of working in restaurants. So last night, I was hosting and managing at the restaurant I work at, and I saw a couple walk up, so I headed towards the door to greet them. Unfortunately, our host stand that has a sign on it saying wait to be seated is outside the building, and it is very tiny. So a lot of people tend to completely miss it and walk right in and choose to ignore it because it's getting cold and they don't want to wait outdoors. Now this I am used to. The woman in this couple opens the door and grabs a menu from the server stand and goes back outside. So I go out the door and I say, "Hi, how can I help you folks?" To which she says to me, "We're just gonna sit right over here," and motions to the fire pit waiting area. I tell her that we don't see people there as it's just for waiting, but I can get them seated on the heated patio since they have a dog. She gives me a look and says, okay, with a tone that was really rude, but I try to brush it off. I take them to the heated patio and say that they can sit down and I'll bring them menus and water as I point to the two-top table. There is another party on the patio that also has a dog, and I hear the man comment to the woman about their dog potentially freaking out. I come back with the water, menus, plates, and setups, and they're sitting at the table on the other side of the patio that is currently set up for 8 people. I place the items on the two-top and I say to them, "So I will actually have you folks sit right here so I'm able to fully seat this patio." To which the woman rudely says to me, "No, we have to sit over here because there's another dog over there." Now at this point I'm feeling defeated. So this is the only time I can see where they might have thought I had some kind of attitude, but I just softly said okay and brought their stuff over. I try to move a couple of tables around so I can still have some room for other parties that need or want to sit outside, but that's when a man stands up and I say to them, "No worries, you folks can sit right there. I just need to move a couple things around so I can have room for other parties." But this guy then says something that honestly blew my mind and really caught me off guard. This man says to me, "Actually, we're leaving because you have a terrible attitude and we do not feel welcome here." And when this guy said that to me, I was honestly shocked and immediately started shaking. I said something along the lines of, "Sir, I'm sorry. I promise I'm not trying to have any sort of attitude. I just need to optimize seating. I'm just doing my job." The woman then stands up and says, "That is a garbage apology. You've been a giant jerk ever since we walked up." Now, for reference and as a side note, they said several swear words at me, and I have never been cussed at or called a name like that ever in my life. Then the other party sitting on the patio chimed in and basically defended me, saying that they heard everything and I had no form of an attitude, and that it's absolutely uncalled for to use profanities against me. They said that they were in the wrong from the start because they disregarded the host stand. The woman fights back and says they need to stay out of it, while also saying, "We are from out of town. We have never been here and we did not know there's a host stand." To which the other party said, "Well, we've never been here either, but we still know how to read." At this point, I'm just trying to get these people to leave because the man is standing outside the gate of the patio, just absolutely berating me even after I apologize for something I didn't do. And I asked them to just go ahead and leave. And the other party is still trying to defend me, and it feels like all too much, and I know I'm about to cry. He finally gets in his stupid Tesla, and then they leave. The other party says they're so sorry that just happened to me, and I thank them for sticking up for me and apologize that they had to witness any of that. Thankfully, my general manager is also there and witnessed the end of the situation through the window, so she comes with me to walk in and tell her everything that happened and assures me it is not my fault. And I thought that maybe this would be the end of it, but trust me, these people go even further. Those people call and complain to her, again, even though she knows I didn't do anything wrong, and then proceed to leave a Yelp review which, of course, leaves out half the story and any mistake they could have made, saying they needed to stay away from the other dogs on the patio in case those dogs aren't friendly, even though I overheard them say that their dog might freak out, which also is like, come on, have some common sense. Don't bring your dog to a restaurant if it can't behave. The past month has been one of the most difficult I've had in a while, battling chronic illness through the holidays, then getting sick again, and then working doubles back to back. Once I get back from dealing with all of that, I don't understand how people can be so entitled and talk to someone that they don't even know on the first day of the new year. I'm just feeling so defeated with humanity humanity and how unfair we get treated as service workers, even though we're doing our best to keep everybody happy. Yeah, that couple was just completely out of line. They were massive jerks to you and you did not deserve to get treated that way. And the other group that was on the patio with them, they were completely right. They were from out of town just like this couple, and they were still able to follow procedure and wait for the host and pretty much do everything they were supposed to. Because it really seems like the couple you had to deal with, who were just determined to cause problems, literally did everything wrong almost on purpose. So truly, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that, and hopefully nothing like this ever happens ever again. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. Am I the jerk for still withholding all of the presents I bought for my family, all because of the prank gifts they got me and my girlfriend? Because even though I told them that I don't want any pranks on Christmas Day, they decided to violate that and do it anyways. And right now, I'm super mad and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. Okay, so in the past couple of years, I started making good enough money that I bought a house, and I still have plenty after the monthly bills. My family have all been pranksters and at times entitled my entire life. But Christmas Eve, they took the cake. I was no contact with them for several years, but they convinced me to reconnect after I moved closer. Now for gifts, I got them all good stuff. Stuff like tablets for the kids with built-in DVD players, sports memorabilia and camping stuff for my dad, brother, and uncle, specific antiques, jewelry, and appliances for my mom, my sister-in-law, and my aunt. And I decided to bring my girlfriend with me, as what little family she has are just completely horrible. So she was delighted to spend Christmas Eve with my family. Everything was going smoothly, and I warned my family, no pranks on me or my girlfriend at all. They swore none would happen, but they could not resist. We got attacked by silly string from multiple fronts, and even though that stuff reeks and it gets everywhere, somehow we power through that. But then came the gifts, and I wasn't really expecting much, but none of them even tried. I got dollar store cooking utensils and a pair of insanely ugly holiday socks that I did confirm were also from the dollar store, and I also got a pink hat, and that was all just from my parents. They all kept snickering and recording me as I unwrapped random junk, one of the presents being a used mirror to a car that I no longer own, and the one gift there to my girlfriend was a bottle of fart spray. And so at that moment, I told them that I had had enough, and that they'd agreed to have no pranks. Well, long story short, they weren't just gag gifts. They were the only presents there for us. And at that point, I had had enough, and I just started gathering up all the presents that I'd bought. They all freaked out and demanded I give them back, but I told them all that they didn't change one bit, and they could kiss all of that stuff goodbye. So we bagged everything and then we stormed out. The family kept calling and messaging me that I'm being greedy and I can't take a joke, and that they couldn't think of anything to get me, while also stating that the kids are crying. So honestly, am I the jerk in this scenario? What should I do? Seriously, I don't think you're the jerk in the slightest. I think the way that these people treated you was really toxic and uncalled for, and this is all after you basically spelled it out that no, you don't want any pranks. You don't like them, you don't want them, and you wanted this Christmas to just be a genuine moment for you and the family that you're just now reconnecting with. Like the fact that they would think this is okay behavior to do, and basically put no thought into any gift they were gonna give you after you probably spent all this money to get gifts for all of them. That is seriously so disappointing, and honestly, I hope you're able to get your money back. Like, a prank is only funny if it's appreciated by everybody involved. And if it's not mutually appreciated, then guess what? That's just bullying. These people literally bullied you and your girlfriend in a moment where you did not want to be bothered. You wanted a genuine Christmas day, and these people just completely ruined it. So with all that in mind, I don't think you're the jerk, and honestly, if I was in that scenario, I would have done the exact same thing. Am I the jerk for picking a revealing bridesmaid dress in order to get one of my bridesmaids to drop out of my party? Here's what happened. So let me just say this has been a long time coming. My soon-to-be husband has a sister, and we're gonna call this sister Megan for the sake of the story. Megan is not her real name. Now, Megan and I do not click very well. I am polite, but I wouldn't say that we are friends. I felt that I was forced by his family to make her a bridesmaid or she will be sad. Now, I'm gonna be blunt. Megan is fat and very insecure about it, and this has led bridesmaid dresses shopping to be a nightmare. I could never find something that she wants that my other bridesmaids as well as myself would also like. So I gave everyone two options to vote on. Option 1 was getting a dress that can be styled multiple ways, accessories, or picking from a collection so everyone matches but they will need to pay for it. Option 2 was that I will buy everyone's dress, but I would choose the dress and that would be my final decision. My 5 bridesmaids voted and option 2 won. So I picked out a blue strapless dress with a mini slit. I really liked it and I knew that Megan would have an issue with it. I sent a picture to all the bridesmaids and confirmed everybody's sizes right before I ordered it. And this is where it all blew up. Megan was angry I picked a revealing dress, and this resulted in an argument where she thinks that I'm a huge jerk, but I told her she can step down if she has an issue with the dress. She tried to get the family on her side, but everyone knows I gave them options, and they had watched me struggle to find something that everybody wants. Now, for the record, she voted for the option where I pay for the dress, and I truly did not ask her to be my bridesmaid, since she and my mother-in-law announced that she was one of my bridesmaids at a family gathering. The only way to keep peace with the whole family was basically giving her what she wanted. So honestly, am I the jerk in this situation? What should I do? Okay, that last little part honestly kind of blows my mind. The original poster didn't even invite Megan to be a bridesmaid, but instead Megan and her stupid mother is like, oh my gosh, Megan's a bridesmaid. And it's like, what are you people doing? This is not your wedding. This is my wedding. You can't just make that kind of announcement and then ambush the bride and be like, yeah, Megan's gonna be a bridesmaid, right? This really felt like some kind of mafia shakedown, and that's just not fair. But at the end of the day, this is your wedding, and you gave all of your bridesmaids a choice on what kind of dress they would want. And this is the option that the majority agreed to, so guess what? That's what we're going with. So in my opinion, if Megan voted for you to buy the dress, then she has no right to throw a fit over what you picked. She can either deal with it or she can step down. Those are basically her options. Her insecurities, in my opinion, are not a part of the equation. Because again, this is your wedding. You decide what happens and nobody else. And if I was in your shoes, there's no way I would let the insecurities of this Megan lady try to dictate what you can or cannot do at your wedding. My sister-in-law announced her engagement shortly after mine and wore an exact replica of my ring as an engagement ring. And right now, I can't help but feel that she's copying me and my husband, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Okay, so my fiance Steve asked for my hand in marriage, with our wedding taking place this summer. Naturally, we are very excited, and we have been for the past few months. We've been together for 8 years, and have gone through college together, traveled the world, and have cultivated a large but close friend group that we're very happy with. He has a sister who has always kind of felt like a one-upper to him. In the past, I've tried to be the voice of reason. She was kind of lonely, didn't have many friends, and only one past painful relationship. So we have tried to include her, patch up the relationship, and so on, but it never really became a close relationship. The reasons why is because they're always looking back. She either acts jealous towards me, or if he announces anything special, she has to try and one-up him and be the center of attention. He says it has always been this way, even back when they were children. Now, there is this weird unspoken competition between her and everybody else in the family, where she is always trying to belittle another person or steal the show. Needless to say, it has become quite annoying, but so far neither of us have lost their temper with her. A few days ago, at a family get-together, they were drinking wine and cheering, and his sister and her new partner of 1.5 years suddenly announced their engagement out of nowhere, seemingly just shy of a month after moving to the city together. Now, we are happy and we're smiling, and we're trying to push away the weird gut feeling that comes creeping up. But then we both catch a glimpse of her ring and suspect that they copied our ring. After a while, it sunk in. It is an exact copy of the engagement ring her brother had carefully picked out for me. We tried to take the high road and congratulate her, but soon thereafter, we left for our house. In the past few days, both of us have been very upset. We've been disappointed and angry, and we are also weirded out by it and incredibly put off. I am trying to contain myself. I am telling myself that it's only a materialistic thing, and if she's found happiness, we should be sharing that. But on the inside, I am fuming, and so is my fiance. And at this point, we seriously don't know what to do. Okay, so I can definitely understand where the original poster's coming from. I mean, here you have this woman who announced her engagement right after you, and then her ring is exactly like yours. So I can completely understand why you would be like, wait, what is she doing? Because it really does seem like she's trying to one-up you and your husband. And if she really is trying to do that, that's just like super creepy and super weird. But with all of that in mind, I think it would be way worse to say something about this and try and like draw attention to it, as opposed to what I feel feel is the smart route and just focusing on your own wedding and your own thing. Because maybe she is copying you. Maybe she's doing this just to annoy you, and she's stuck in this comparison game that you are definitely not participating in. And if that's really the case, where she's trying to be like in competition with you or something like that, then that is completely on her and that has nothing to do with you. Like, she sounds a bit unstable if I'm completely honest, and it kind of sounds like your husband and yourself are like the only people that really picked her up. So maybe that's why she's trying to copy you and try and like one up everything you're doing. Like, hopefully it isn't, because if that is the case, that is really weird. But regardless, in my opinion, if I was in your shoes, I would not make a big deal out of this, because I think drawing attention to it is only going to cause problems overall. And I can only imagine that would be an absolute nightmare to deal with any kind of fallout. My job is absolutely obnoxious, as I am so sick of dealing with customers who expect me to read their mind when they're trying to find an item that they don't know the name of. Here's what happened. So to start things out, I want to ask a question. What is it with people not knowing the name of a product, but then expecting us as the people who work there to know exactly what they're vaguely describing? Now, I work in a general store, and if I had the brain capacity to have extensive knowledge on every item we sell, I wouldn't be stocking shelves for a living. So anyways, this lady stops me in the store and asks me where the crackers are. Now, that's not my department, so I search it up on the system. As I'm doing so, she points to this other worker and says, "That boy right there told me where they were and he was wrong." But I tell her, "No ma'am, they were exactly where he told you." It turns out when she asked where the crackers were, she meant an entirely different item that's in a different place. I had to figure this one out as she had no clue what they were called. So I tell her where they are, and then she tells me to fetch them for her and find her in the checkouts. On top of that, she gave me instructions on how many packs to get. She stated that if they have the 6-pack, I should get 2 of them, and if they have the 12-pack, I should get 1 of them. But the funniest thing about this is that she literally had to walk past them to get to the checkouts. Like, this isn't my job description. I am not your personal servant. I help people getting items if they physically can't get them, but she very much could, and they were en route for her. So it's this weird mix of being rude, expecting us workers to read her mind, and being mad that we can't do that, and then making me run around doing her shopping for her, just to then hand deliver them to her for literally no reason. It's honestly really annoying. I also had someone ask me to tell them where juice for babies was, because she wanted a very specific one, and I tried explaining that if I don't have a name or any other description of this specific item, I literally cannot help her. I went through all the juices that's marketed for kids, and not a single one of them was right. I tried explaining that I can't just search up baby juice because nothing would come up, but she just kept staring at me waiting for an answer. Older people do the same thing with printer ink, and they expect me to know what printer they have. Then they start pointing at printers and screaming, "It looks like that," even though all the printers look like that. But overall, it's just super annoying to deal with, and I'm so tired of having customers that think I can read their mind. Yeah, I can only imagine how frustrating that must be on a daily basis. Like, you have people walking up and being like, "Find me the baby juice, I need it right now." And you're like, "Lady, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as baby juice." Like, I know what you're trying to ask, but unless you've got like a brand name or something, I've got nothing for you. So I completely understand where the original poster is coming from, and hopefully this job gets better sooner than later. 2 years ago, I won a huge amount of money in a settlement, and I'm essentially retired at 31 years old. And right now, no one in my life knows anything about it. Here's what happened. Okay, so I can't get into specifics due to the terms of the settlement, but I got more money than I'd ever dreamed of having. Enough to where I would never have to work ever again. I quit my job and invested the bulk of it, and the investments paid off, and I essentially made nearly 6 times that money in the last 2 years. Now here's the thing. No one in my life knows exactly how well off I am. My immediate family and friends know that I received a settlement, but not for how much. Now that the pandemic is over, I spend my time traveling, while my accountant and my broker handle everything else, and the money just keeps growing. I grew up pretty poor, and was poor until said settlement happened, so it's still all very new to me. I've been so blessed, and I'm so grateful to be in the position that I'm in. I've made a lot of anonymous donations to various charities I believe in, and I have seen firsthand what they've done to change lives with money that I've sent them. I've tried really hard and succeeded at keeping out of the public eye, thankfully, but I'm honestly not sure what to do with the rest of my life. But I know I'm not going to be stopping here. I don't plan on telling anybody in my family, and I even bought a modest home with cash, as well as a new car, new clothing, as well as a few odds and ends like a new phone. But outside outside of that, I don't appear as wealthy as I really am, and my family thinks I'm a day trader for a living, which is mostly true. And honestly, I really hope to keep it that way for the rest of my life. Wow, good for the original poster for basically being loaded. And I think the original poster probably already knows this, but seriously, don't tell anybody about the money that you got. If you want to see the dark side of people, just admit to family and friends that you're loaded and you have a lot of money. Because I think we've all been on the internet long enough where we've seen all kinds of stories of people like winning the lottery, telling their friends and family about it, and then eventually they lose everything. But it sounds like the original poster is a lot smarter than that, and hopefully they're able to protect their money throughout the rest of their life and not have to deal with anybody who would want to try and take that from them. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out easymode. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below in the description.